Well, hello, my beautiful Capricorn. Welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with your twin flame reading for the end of November, right through the end of December 2025. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading, and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Capricorn, this is your twin flame reading for those twins who are currently in separation. Now, the first pile will be your pile, the second pile will be your person's pile, and the third pile is the unified energy of how things come together. Now, it is worth noting that if anyone is mentally, physically, or emotionally abusive, that is not a twin flame connection. That's more likely to be a false flame connection, and it really will drain you of your beautiful love and waste your wonderful time, okay? Now, I will give you a bite-sized idea of what it means to be in a twin flame relationship. Please fast forward this part if you already know or you've heard this before, but if you want to stick around and find out a little bit more, it's only going to be, as I said, a bite-sized idea. There's so much more on the internet for you to discover, but twin flames, as you know, are magnetic. Think of yourself as an actual magnet, and your divine counterpart is also a magnet. Both of you share the same frequency at the very core of you, and you seek each other out in each lifetime. It is an otherworldly experience, so you can't stop thinking about your person. It is all-consuming, almost obsessive, and there's a lot of love there, a lot of passion, a lot of chemistry. It is like no other relationship you have ever experienced. Now, of course, the twin flame dynamic is a very challenging relationship to navigate. There often tends to be a runner, a chaser, and a separation period. Now, that's not always typical to form, but it does tend to be the norm. And whilst the relationship is very physically intense and, of course, all-consuming, it's more of a spiritual awakening than it is actually a tangible, physically romantic relationship. Now, it starts off that way, of course, but then suddenly the twin flame's job kicks in. The twin flame's job is to amplify and trigger things within each party in order to see if it's been healed. So things from your past, things that perhaps you have not resolved within yourself, they will be triggered or amplified within the twin flame dynamic. For some twins, it may be fear of loss, feelings of low self-worth, feeling insecure, trust issues. It can also be addictions, codependency. So there can be a lot of things that are amplified within a union in order to make sure it is not ignored and it is processed and healed. Now, it is a process that prepares both parties to release those lower vibrational energies that keeps either party stuck in unhealthy attachments or addictive patterns or fear, as it were. Very intense inner vibrational transformation. And of course, it is a personal journey of discovery, and it's one that must be done alone. Now, that's why it can be a little bit isolating and lonely sometimes. So I'm sending you a huge hug out there. It is not an easy relationship to navigate. There are periods where you are going through a rite of passage, which means you separate from your twin on purpose. Of course, there is always purpose in pause. And this is where you and your person sort through the stuff. Think of the magnets. If you have two magnets identical in polarities, they push and pull. They attract each other, but also repel each other. There is naturally a space in between. Two of those magnets, they cannot connect because the frequencies need to change. And if you share an identical frequency with your twin, then of course it will never come together as a match. It will always be a repetitive cycle. The space will always be exactly the same. So if you reach out to your person or you withdraw from your person and you don't do the work, then of course the frequency will remain. But as soon as the chaser puts all the energy, care, devotion onto their sense of purpose and also, you know, basically embraces unconditional love, that's when you change the frequency. You change the value within the magnet, and therefore it is a vibrational switch. And it also encourages your twin to step up or step out, change their frequency, and come towards you in a vibration that connects you both together for a long-term sustainable relationship. But first, both parties must discover their true path and also, of course, unconditional love for self. It's a formed sacred union, which is the result of shared difficulty and pain. You may have heard of the mirroring experience in a twin flame dynamic. That tends to mean that when your twin looks at you, my beautiful Capricorn, they see all the things within themselves that they've been running away from their whole life. So they push their twin away, they avoid their feelings, they distance themselves, and of course, their fears are amplified, or whatever it is they've been avoiding within themselves because it is a projected energy, they basically bolt from it, okay? So the twin needs to step away and redefine themselves without the fear, without the trauma, or whatever it is that they have experienced that has made them feel overprotective of their heart. It's often done as a self-preservation mode, but it feels very personal. You feel like your twin is pushing you away, but actually they are avoidant, emotionally avoiding their feelings, okay? Now, that doesn't make it right, of course. It's just the dynamic and how you resolve things within yourselves in order to come back to each other. And I kid you not, when the moment is right, the universe will bring you and your person back together, no matter the circumstances, to try again to see if, you know, the work has been done and you can make it work. When I had met my twin, and of course I was the runner, in a sea of millions of people in a city, I bumped into my twin more than once. The universe was trying to get us back together to see if we could make it work. And of course, you swap polarities, so you walk in your person's shoes, they become the chaser, you become the runner as well, and so completes the cycle until you come back together in a union. It is not a game, it's an energetic exchange, and of course, I feel looking at your cards already, my beautiful Capricorn, I feel like you're so fed up with this. You're like wondering if a twin flame dynamic actually is real. You're trying to do a lot of understanding right now. You feel very isolated and alone in this. You're searching for inspiration. You're exhausted. You're just fed up and just like feeling bereft or lost, seeking guidance. Now you could be seeking guidance within yourself, maybe leaning into friendships. With that hermit energy, you've definitely withdrawn. So you are the catalyst for change. You are going to trigger a change within your person because you are backing off and you're doing some soul searching. You're doing the work. When you do the work, you're changing your frequency. So I would say that you are changing this person's energy. They've been withdrawn. There's been a bit of a stalemate going on in this particular twin flame dynamic here. And I got to understand why. I feel like you and your person, there's just this energy of like you had to be separate in order to know yourselves deeper. I mean, there is something here that this person was working through with that Four of Swords. So there is some hurt there. It, of course, comes after the Three of Swords, which means this person has been through some sort of turbulence or sorrow or pain or suffering or challenge in some way. But I feel like they had kind of like nearly resolved this when they met you. I feel actually the rite of passage for the twin flame dynamic just had to put you both on pause on purpose so that you would focus more on yourselves. Okay? Because there's two cards here. Both of you are in very similar vibrations. These are two cards of knowledge. Both of you needed to seek knowledge and find happiness within yourself. Focus on your sense of purpose. And of course, you've got two fours here as well. Four Swords, Four Cups. And we have two major arcana cards. So you're definitely mirroring each other right now. There is that push and pull, okay? But you stepping back, withdrawing, going off grid. This is literally you going off the radar, making yourself scarce because you're fed up, exhausted, you can't do this anymore. Your person's got the Chariot card. So after a period of inaction, suddenly there is movement. Suddenly there is a desire to seek you out. So I feel a part of this person is closing a chapter of their life, but both of you were put on pause on purpose to focus on your sense of purpose, to love yourselves fully, to learn more about yourself, and to invest in you. Also, I feel that the energy, check out with extra cards on your person's energy, because I'm not really seeing the real reason of why this separated, other than the universe was like, okay, two twins who've come together, yep, they're great together, however, we need to separate them so that they learn more. There's a quest or a thirst for knowledge here. So for some of you, it could be that there's space and breath between you because either your person decided to invest in college or university or go off somewhere, travel, or there's a physical distance, or it can be that you decided to invest in your own personal knowledge and somehow you couldn't make it work. But I'll have to know more in a moment, because with the owl as your protagonist energy, my beautiful Capricorn, you've been very observant. You haven't been waiting and watching and just wanting this person to reach out. You're not the sort of person who like darns your socks by candlelight and waits for them to walk past your window and declare their undying love for you. You get busy living, okay? So I feel, though, with this, it's ruffled your feathers a little bit with the owl energy. You learn a lot about yourself, what you're capable of, but certainly what you do not want in a relationship. And you may have been very observant and even sometimes peeking on their social media to see if they're with anybody else. They're in a 4 of Swords energy. They're alone. They're not with anybody else. This is the dynamic of the twin flame journey that I'm picking up on right now. But we have number 12. This is Hangman energy. So you may feel completely in limbo with this, that you feel this twin turned your life upside down and you were fully invested. You wanted to nest with this person. You wanted to settle down with this person. Deep down, you know this person. You just feel them on a different level, and they got under your skin. I feel, of course, that with that 4 of Cups, you've tried many times to heal or repair this relationship. You've been there for this person. You've offered this person everything you had to give. And this relationship may have taken you by surprise. You may not have even been looking for love when you first met this person, but they're your twin, and suddenly they captured your heart. You know that it was divinely sent to you, this relationship, and you may have even come off a disappointment in a relationship before you even met your twin as well. Okay, so a lot of you, I get this energy that both of you were kind of healing from something else before you met each other. And you were kind of close to resolving that within yourselves, but then you met each other. And it kind of like got put to the sideline. So I feel both of you are old souls. There's a lot of wisdom here. And with this owl energy, I feel there is this desire to kind of like, if you think about the nature of an owl, they sit in the tree. You can't really see them often, but they're watching. They're there. So I feel like right now you are aware that this person, because you can feel them, you know they're going to reach out. You know deep down that you're going to hear from this person again. How do you know? Because you know them, because you can feel them. So I feel that you're just kind of like in a state of gravitas right now, where not in ego, but you just expect, or you can feel that you're going to hear from this person again. You don't know when, but you can just feel it, okay? I can tell you that it's quite soon, actually. You're probably going to hear from this person before the year is out, that's for sure. But you've been waiting, watching, you've been trying to turn your life around. The Hangman energy, because number 12, of course, is present on this card, it indicates that you're seeing things from a different perspective. It indicates that you're learning more about yourself. You are kind of reflecting on the lessons that you've learned in this, but also I feel like you are thinking about sacrificing this connection because you feel that your twin sacrificed you and, left you feeling bereft. And no matter what you did to try and repair this relationship, it always just didn't work out. 4 Cups indicates that you've been disappointed, disenchanted, you're bored with the same old stuff. It's almost discouraging you from waiting or watching. And there's kind of like an indication that this twin flame dynamic, whilst there was a lot of love, a lot of chemistry there, and a lot of this like otherworldly knowing, both of you felt like home to each other, something that perhaps you had not experienced in a previous relationship. But this card, it indicates that you had an expectation, like you were going to be with this person. That there's something here about travel as well for some of you. Either there was like a promise of travel, or you were going to relocate, or they were going to relocate. There's something there, a conversation about that, and it just fell flat, didn't happen, okay? And I feel like suddenly you shut down because you can't do this. This is a card of self-preservation mode. So I feel a lot of you have gone dark. A lot of you are like off the radar, off the grid. You've made yourself scarce. You're not giving to this anymore because you've given so much in the past, and it just did not go the way you'd hoped. You're really discouraged by the same old thing, just a different day with this person. So right now things are at a stalemate because you're not giving to this. They're not talking with that Four of Swords. They are doing a lot of thinking. They're learning more about themselves. We have the Hermit here, which means you're doing a lot of soul searching right now. Now the Hermit only removes themselves from society when they feel completely like disconnected, or they don't feel seen. They feel uninspired. So I feel right now you're not going to be disrespected by the situation, and you're certainly not going to wait around for a person, even though I do feel there's an element of you kind of waiting for a message that actually you will get. I want you to be aware. But the Hermit energy, of course, is a temporary timeout. I feel deep down that, of course, there's a lot of love here. Okay, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But you may be wondering if this person feels the same. Your outcome energy has the Empress, which is all about unconditional love. And of course you have the flowers as well, which can indicate this relationship, it got cut short in your eyes. But actually the universe, it's a rite of passage. In order to bloom, it had to be cut short. And both of you had to bloom separately because that's the twin flame dynamic. I don't make the rules. I don't like it as much as you don't. It was a very challenging experience, but when it comes together, it is very rewarding. And in your future with this person, you can grow together. But that's your prerogative. Right now, I see a lot of you just like fed up, exhausted, and saying enough. Okay, and I feel like you've been doing a lot of meditating on this, a lot of thinking, reflection, trying to find inner guidance. Some of you may even have been offered advice from people and you're just like not taking it because you're going, you know what, I'm just going to listen to myself. Okay, I know how I feel about this. So you're just trying to make sense of this right now. And of course, you're on a spiritual journey of discovery. And that's what the twin flame dynamic is all about. So this is time to give back to yourself, to learn more about you and spend some time alone in order to find your way, but also to be inspired to heal. This is a card that highlights the star is in the lantern. So right now you're looking inwards at things within yourself that need to be resolved, things that may have been triggered by your twin, but also things that may have been amplified by your twin for you to really see and dissect. Your person is also learning, okay? When you reduce this number, 26, 2 plus 6 is 8, the number of the self. That's the strength card energy. So that is about quietening the inner battle. It's about hypervigilance as well, conquering hypervigilance. And it's basically having the courage of heart. And this person, we've got the book which is closed. It indicates this person's a very private person. They find it hard to open up. But when you have the book in the LENORMAND deck, this literally means that there is knowledge to be discovered. So this person, they're holding something close to their chest right now, a secret. Okay, I don't like to talk about secrets or drama and things like that. But there's something here that this person will disclose to you in your future, should you allow that conversation to occur, my beautiful Capricorn, because of course that's your prerogative. But there's something here that they don't open up about often. So I'm just going to pull a card, see if I can find out what it is. But right now, I'm not being given it. What I am being given is that this person, they don't stick around long. They move on pretty quickly. They're very antsy. They like to be on the go. They may have moved around a lot when they were younger, is what I'm seeing there. I feel there's something as well, because the Empress is present, there may be something regarding a mother wound there as well, but it's so faint in the energy. I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to tell you something that's not there. It's so faint, I can just barely feel it in the energy. I don't certainly have anything more of it to really fully explore it. So I can't really tell you what it is unless I get a little bit more energy coming through from that. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Capricorn? 7 of Cups, Page of Swords. So this person is looking at their choices right now. based on their experiences. Seven of Cups indicates that this person had an opportunity to dream, and they had a lot of doubt. And they're in a period right now of turning doubt into the power of possibility, because the Page of Swords indicates this person is dissecting the way they think. This is actually a card of hypervigilance as well. So that means there's something that has happened to this person that keeps them always preempting like a problem, a doubt in the relationship, which gives them a relationship commitment issue, as it were. Now, you don't need me to tell you that there's a commitment issue here, but I'm trying to dissect what that is. Five of Swords. Five of Swords is something that's always on their mind, causes a lot of conflict. I actually feel there's something here that they feel that when they give you the truth of this, that you're going to judge them. I don't think you'll judge them because you love this person. You're very understanding. But there's something here that they're curious to see whether you commit to them after they tell you. So I'm not sure what that is. Can you show me a little bit more on that? The Star, something they're healing within themselves or something they're trying to reconcile within themselves. I mean, the Star is like, if they would reveal it to you, would you still commit? So I feel this person's got something. Now, a lot of you may be like, Baba, they've already told me and I still love them and it's fine. And others are going to be like, no, they didn't tell me nothing. So you're going to hear from this person in the future. But there's something on this person's mind that they want to reveal, but they're conflicted because they feel that you would not commit to them should they share it with you. But again, I'm not being given what it is, which is so unusual. Five of Swords. Five of Swords is a lot of mental anxiety, a lot of worry, a lot of stress over whatever this is, a lot of tension, a lot of conflict. But this person, they feel like it's important to have integrity and tell you. That's why I feel like it's not over with this person. It's on their mind to tell you. Like the book is all about knowledge. And it's a closed book right now. But the Four of Swords, this person is contemplating, should they share it with you? And they're asking for guidance. Interesting, both of you are, again, on a very similar timeline where you're asking for guidance, but for different reasons. Okay, this person, I feel when they are ready to talk, they're going to talk. Whether you're there to hear it or not, that's your prerogative. Because right now I feel like you're closed off. Because it's like, unless you take accountability for your actions, don't come here with excuses because you're not about it. So I really feel like there's an energy of you being quite direct right now with this person because you're also in self-preservation mode. You love this person. But I also feel, because these two cards with the owl, these tell me that you miss the person that you had to outgrow, because this is a card of like knowledge, wisdom, feeling like very mature and kind of like exhausted and outgrowing that part of yourself. So you miss the person you had to outgrow. You know, you believed in this relationship and now you're learning to try and believe in love again. And I feel like you gave so much of your loyalty and your life and your love to this person. You gave more of you and you actually asked for less in exchange. And that experience didn't break you, but it certainly, you know, made you quieter or silence a part of you that you kind of didn't like. And you just felt the dynamic of this twin flame journey dwindling. So it feels like you kind of like withdrew in order to protect your heart or be in survival mode. That's your coping language right now in this, which is self-reliance and, of course, withdrawal into self, because you can't keep giving to something that you feel is not giving back at this time. I feel like your person is aware of this. They do think about you a lot, whether you wonder that or not. You know, Four Swords indicates a very thoughtful person at this time, someone who is seeking clarity in their life. And I feel humans don't really change unless they get fed up of their own BS, right? We all get to that point where like, you know what, I'm so fed up of saying I'm going to do something and then I just don't do it. Today's the day I'm going to make it happen. And you just get to that point where you're like, I'm fed up. This person is at that point where they are fed up or bored of their own cycle repeat. So they are trying to close a chapter and move on with their life or overcome the obstacle. That's what the Chariot card is all about. The willpower to overcome the obstacle or the bump in the road and move towards a desire. You know, the Chariot card is all about commitment, your commitment to advancing the relationship, because this is a twin flame dynamic relationship. So I feel that you are actually going to hear from this person. They're going to talk about either travel or a vacation or something that perhaps you're going to be going, that's irrelevant. Why are you telling me this? They're trying to open up a dialogue. They may even, and I feel that would be a little bit immature of them, but this is something that's coming through, so I have to honor it. Some of you may actually receive a message from your twin that is really flippant, but deep down they kind of mean it, which is like, should we just run away together and like go on a vacation or do something wild and different and free? They really mean it. But remember, they have to come towards you with actions that are sustainable. Otherwise, you will repeat a cycle with this person. Now, looking at the energy, I feel like there has been growth. This is the outcome energy. When you have the bouquet, it indicates that, of course, there is a lot of chemistry in this relationship, but also this is appreciation for the other person. It is to find the joy and happiness within, to recognize that you are a gift, and both parties needed to learn that lesson. I genuinely feel that you and your person had to be separated so you could just learn more about yourselves and resolve things within yourself, both of you. Okay, and you may feel that you're ready, and this person actually kind of felt like they were ready as well, but there's this energy where no matter how hard you tried, it just couldn't work. But it will work in your future is what I'm seeing there. But again, that's your prerogative. I don't want anyone to wait for their twin. Your person's going to reach out with a message. Pages bring news. Okay, I'm saying your person is going to reach out because you have two cards that are like, no, I'm not doing that. No, closed, not happening. And your person has not doing anything right now, doing a lot of thinking, but suddenly they spring into action because they can feel your withdrawal. Remember the magnets, the change in frequencies. That's what you're changing within yourself right now. And of course, that is what is to come with that Page of Pentacles. This is effort, okay? This is also a study card, learning about oneself, being the student of life. No matter how mature we get in life, no matter how old we are, we're always learning about ourselves, about other people, about the world, about life, and it is about unconditional love. So I feel that your person is going to make an effort. Pages, like they deliver messages, right? So you're going to get a delivery of a message. The Empress energy, I feel this will not just be a flirtatious message, it'll be a message that has a compliment in it as well that's coming through. But the Empress is all about unconditional love, kindness, and of course, to be open to love, to grow into a position where you can both, discover each other's love language and accept that nobody's perfect, of course, but there has to be honest, open dialogues for both of you to understand what went down, take accountability, see where you're going to take things from there. Because there is love in this connection, I feel love can save the day, okay? And with that Page of Pentacles, I do feel that both of you are old souls, but I feel like your person was playing a little bit of catch up. Remember, we can only meet each other as deeply as we have met ourselves, and I feel like your person is going to highlight to you with action and words that they're making an effort. In fact, that's actually a very good point about twin flames and false flames. Twin flames, you'll know if you're with a twin flame because when they try to come back to you, you can see some measure of growth that they're trying. As I said, no one's perfect. No one comes with a manual of how to do life, but they're trying to figure it out. You can see growth. You can see with action and words that they're trying to make an effort in order to resolve the connection because they want to be with you. They don't want to be without you, but stuff gets in the way. A false flame or karmic will actually come back towards you for the goodies. They may trigger you, but without any evolution on either side. No one's growing from that experience. It's like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm back in the same position. How did I do this again? So just be a little bit mindful about the exchanges between you and the person you're with. Whoever I'm picking up on here, definitely twin flames, and I feel like a message is coming through, and it's a message of love, but also about travel or going on a vacation, going to the country or something like that. That's coming through there as well. I see a walk in nature for you and this person, a reuniting, a moment. Now, this can be just to discover more about what's going on, to really kind of like have an intimate conversation. Doesn't mean you're making any decisions. What I can see right now in this reading is that you will hear from your person, okay? So I'm just going to check in with any conversations that have been left unsaid. I love this deck because it highlights anything that perhaps needs to be revealed that hasn't, or may even kind of highlight anything that has actually showed up in the reading there. But your person is very private. And when I'm given the private energy from my guides, I am not allowed to pry, okay? So your first card out of this deck is, I fear that if you get too close, you will hurt me. Now that's really interesting because that did not come up in the reading. But that is a fear here. I mean, the Four of Swords can indicate an energy of being really comfortable on their own. And of course, that means that they've been hurt before. Four of Swords is recovery after pain, difficulty, sadness, or heartbreak. So I feel this person has been hurt. I did mention that part because the Four of Swords shows up for a reason, but I felt they were really like kind of over it, or they were so close to resolving that within themselves when they met you. I see signs of you everywhere I go. They may actually tell you that in a message as well. Oh, thank you so much. I'm truly grateful. Now this person, when you and this person separated, they actually had a gift for you. A gift they never gave you. And you may actually have a gift for them that you never gave them, because there's a gift exchange here. When you see this person, and they've kept this gift on a very dominant table, and it's always been there. Even when they tidy away, that gift is still on that table. It's a memory of you, a token of how they felt about you, that they wanted to gift you this, whatever this is. They'll give this to you in the future, or they'll tell you about it for sure. So that's something that's coming through there as well. So let's see what's popped out there. We have, I fear that if you get too close, you'll hurt me. So I read that earlier, but I'm just showing it to you again. This person, I mean, it stands to reason if a person has been hurt in the past, they worry about being hurt again. Hurt people tend to shut down and wear a suit of armor in life because they are conditioned to feel that it could happen again. They expect troubles ahead. But you are in the rite of passage with this person, and I feel both of you are transitioning towards something greater in your relationship. There's a lot of growth here. That's why. I see signs of you everywhere I go. Again, that will be a conversation that you'll have with your person. I need you back in my life. Now, need is a very interesting word. Just be a little bit mindful of that, because there could be a little bit of codependency there. When a person needs, that's not a healthy energy to be in. Both of you need to recognize that although you're twins, you're whole all by yourself. Sometimes twins can get so all consumed by each other that they forget about their purpose path. And that's why there needs to be separation. And I feel you and your person pretty much got close to that energy. So divine intervention separated you both in order to thrust you on your spiritual awakening path. I don't want to lose you. I feel deep down, if I'm honest with the vibrations that are coming out in this reading right now, I feel like neither of you really want to lose each other, but you just want to work it out, understand, and kind of, you know, heal and grow together in this. But there has to be accountability, responsibility, and truth laid on the table before you can resolve this, as well as actions and words co-aligning. And finally, we've got, what if you don't accept me for who I really am? As I said, there's something in this person's past, like a secret, that if they revealed it to you, they feel like you would judge them. So I'm not sure what this is. Again, they're going to tell you what this is. I mean, you could have got any card in this deck. There's loads in there, even cards that say, I'm not ready, I can't be with you. I've got a tarot reading on you. I keep a close eye on your social media. There's so many different cards. You got the one that really reveals they have a secret, something that they feel you would either judge them for or just couldn't be in a relationship. They feel whatever this is that's on their mind a lot, that you would maybe not commit to them if you knew. But this is something to be revealed in the future, and for you to decide whether it is something you want to continue to connect to or not, because that is your prerogative, okay? So that's the dynamic I have coming out for this reading. Just going to go and get a trinket or room before we close. Ooh. Oh my gosh, look at this. We've got two birds, two beautiful birds on a branch coming together. Now, what's interesting, birds, of course, they will fly to that branch and they choose to be there. They can fly away at any moment, but these two birds are choosing to be with each other. And that is the cycle and circle of this relationship. Of course, there is a circle surrounding them, and any ring that goes around, any item or any animal, it tends to mean commitment. A ring is symbolic of a commitment. So I feel you and this person, you're both very independent people, but in your future, there can be commitment. And of course, you can choose each other, but you had to be separate in order to choose yourselves first. Okay? Find happiness within yourself, connect to your sense of purpose, and together you shall grow in your future. So I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates, my beautiful Capricorn. Thank you so much, and love and light.